I stand here today in front of the Koso with a critical message for anyone who wants their tefillahs to be answered. Chazal tell us, the Gemara in Bava Metzia, Daf Nun Tes 59, tells us that all the gates have been closed. Since the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, all the gates have been closed except for the gates of tears. The gates of tears are the only gates that are open. How do we get into the gates of tears? I'm going to share with you the following thoughts. The pasuk says, "Shivchi kemayim libeich nochach b'nei Hashem." I pour my heart out to you in front of Hashem. I believe the meaning of this pasuk is as follows: Shivchi kemayim libeich. I'm able to pour out my heart to Hashem in tears. Nochach b'nei Hashem. If I'm nochach b'nei Hashem, if I'm standing in front of Hashem, how do I be nochach b'nei Hashem? How do I get to that level of nochach b'nei Hashem? And there's only one way. We saw in the parsha a few weeks ago in Vayigash, Yosef Atzadik, he is getting ready to reveal himself to his brothers, and he asks everyone to leave the room. He asks everyone to leave the room, and he says, "Ani Yosef, Oid Avichai," and he cries out to Hashem, "Ani Yosef, Oid Avichai." He's crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The tears, for a person to reach the level of tears, the first thing you have to do is clear everybody out of the room. Everyone has to be gone. And when we're davening to Hashem, this means as follows. Yeah, when we dive into Hashem, it's very difficult. We're coming with all our experiences from that day, all the people we know, all the relationships we have, all the organizations we're connected to, everything. All of that is all interference. It takes us away from being Nochach Pnei Hashem. Again, Shivchi Kamayim Libeich Nochach Pnei Hashem. If you want to pour out your heart in front of Hashem, Shivchi Kamayim Libeich, if you want to pour out your heart, you have to be Nochach Pnei Hashem. It has to be just you and the Borei Olam, no one else in the room at all. No one else existing. That's Shivchi Kamayim Libeich Nochach Pnei Hashem. That's the first step. An intimate relationship with the Borei Olam. No one else there. As the Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Tzadiches, right? You have to clear your head and clear your mind, physicality, until you get close to a level of Nevuah. This is step number one. Shivchi Kamayim Libeich Nochach Hashem. When you're there in the room with the Borei Olam and standing right in front of him, now you get to Shemona Esrei and you say the following two brachas. U'v'nei Yerushalayim ircha brachamim tashuv. Yerushalayim ircha brachamim tashuv. Yeah. When you say those words, your city, Yerushalayim ircha brachamim tashuv. Now you're standing right in front of Hashem and talking to him. At this point, you should be overcome with tears. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is your city, right? And you're not here as the pasuk says in Shir Shirim. I ran through the streets looking for the Borei Olam and I didn't find him. Right? You're standing in front of Hashem, Nochach B'nei Hashem. You cleared everyone out of the room. Shivchi Kamayim Libeich Nochach B'nei Hashem. Now that you're standing in front of the Borei Olam, Nochach B'nei Hashem, Shivchi Kamayim Libeich. You say this bracha. Cry to Hashem. Yerushalayim ircha barachamim tashuv. In your great mercy. When a person talks, sometimes it falls on deaf ears. But when you cry, Hashem, please bring back your city. Please come back. Because even though I've reached a level of closeness to you through tefillah, this is me'ein she'me'ein she'ein. It's a tiny drop in the bucket compared to what we have. We have the Beis Hamikdash. We have a Beis Hamikdash. We have a reality of a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Until then, it's all a me'ein she'me'ein. It's a tiny, tiny drop. As we say Yerushalayim. When you get to Tzemach David, think, Mashiach ben David. It's within our grasp. Right? Kol Dor, the Mashiach doesn't come. Every generation the Mashiach doesn't come. It's because we didn't bring him. You know Hashem. You cleared everyone out of the room. To cry in front of the Borei Olam, Hashem, please bring Mashiach. Please bring Mashiach. We're suffering so much. We're suffering so much, and there's so much of a chisaron kvod shamayim. We're lacking your honor in the world without your presence. Shivchi kamayim libeich nochach b'nei Hashem. Once you reach the level of nochach b'nei Hashem, and during Shemona Esrei, The Kadmonim tells we're in Atzilus, when the highest level it's possible to reach it closest to Hashem. The condition is that you cleared everyone out of the room, and then you're in Tzilas, and you're talking to Hashem, and you're saying these two brachas of Yerushalayim and Semach David. You're asking for the Beis Hamikdash. You're asking for Mashiach. Cry to Hashem. Right? Yerushalayim ircha barachamim tashu, v'sishkan b'seicha kashem. Dwell within us, and dwell within our heart. It's not in this building. It's in our heart. Hashem is not in our hearts. Please, Hashem, be in our hearts. Fill our hearts up with your presence. This is what we're asking for. Pour your eyes out in tears to Hashem. And then, if we did that, if we're able to get deep, dig into our hearts, then when we get to Shema Kolenu, then we've opened up the gates of tears. If you've opened up the gates of tears, and you really felt for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and His presence, and His lack of presence, and we get to Shema Kolenu, Hashem will hear our tears, He'll hear our prayers, because if we've cried to Hashem about the lack of Shechina, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will answer our tefillas. Will be Shema Kolenu. This is a big avoda, and it's very hard. And this is avoda shebelev. This is what Chazal meant. The tefillah is avoda shebelev. You have to work very, very hard. Number one, to get everyone out of the room, so you should be nochach b'nei Hashem. And number two, that when you get to those brachas of Yerushalayim and Semach David, right, and really all the brachas leading up to that as well, but especially those two brachas, you should really feel passionately about the lack of Shechina and cry to Hashem. Tears should be flowing at this point. Tears should be flowing from eyes. Yerushalayim ircha barachamim tashu. Hashem, we are in the city of Yerushalayim, and you are here. And says Shir running through the streets, looking for the Bari Olam, looking for my beloved. Where is he? Where is the Bari Olam? To find Hashem in our lives. And if we do that, Shivchi Kamayim Lebeich, Nochach B'nei Hashem. Then, Nochach B'nei Hashem, we get the Shema Kolenu. Hashem will hear our tefillas. We've opened up the gates of tears. Hashem should help all of us. Everyone who needs the Yeshua, myself and the entire Jewish people, all of us who need a Yeshua Gedei L'Ma'od, we should all be Zoiche to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our tefillas, to open up the gates of tears, until our tefillah should get in and be heard from Hashem. As somebody who talks is not heard. When you cry, people listen. Let's all of us try as best we can to cry to Hashem. They should hear our tefillahs, because we need a Yeshua Gedei L'Ma'od. Amen.